Yeah. Could have butchered that a little bit worse, but we fought through it. Now, I do want to start talking about this top 8 because as these players are setting up, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to be going to that in just a second, but as these players are setting up, these players have, I believe both of them have already been featured. Trainer Wolf was featured early in day 1, and he's playing Yveltal against Owen Robinson, who's one of the 3 Vespiquen players who made top 8.
Yeah, we see Vespiquen's well represented here. We have 3 different Vespiquens that made the top 8, and Trainer, of course, he was playing a very creative list, so I'm ready to jump right into that. And it looks like the game's
actually ready. So let's get going. Trainer Wolf against Owen Robinson to start this tournament.
We see here Trainer actually accomplished a lot last year. He had 2 state championship wins, and he's been around for a little while too. You see, he made a pretty good position over at Nationals. He made cut there. In the 2013, he had a regionals placement. This one, obviously, a little better.
Yeah, it's never easy to make the cut at the national championships. Even a top 128 cut is something like the top 20% of your field, right?
Yeah, there's like
even
900
higher.
people, man.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
So, and obviously his breakout year happened to be last year to get 2 state championship victories. Now, obviously, Owen Robinson has some accomplishments of his own, and here they are. State's top 4 this year, State's top 4 last year, Regionals top 32, and also last year, and Nationals top 128 in 2014.
Yeah, and he's it looks like he's relatively new if he's been playing for a couple of years, and he has a pretty good list of accomplishments, but adding a regional championship would just be phenomenal.
And sure enough, we also saw a lot of these cards that are going to be featured in these decks for these guys. Flareon Vespiquen, hopefully you guys have been accustomed to that throughout the weekend. But that Yveltal deck is as strong as it appeared to be at the beginning of day 1. Only one of these copies made top 8 for our top 8, I should say.
Right.
We see Trainer there, yeah.
Trainer right there. Had a fun interview with him yesterday. He's he was really excited to come on. He's a nice young kid, and I really like his deck list. When we were reviewing it, I agree with every card that he chose, and he had a lot of good reasoning with everything that he's playing.
Right, and obviously Owen is no slouch himself. Playing what we can now call a traditional Flareon Vespiquen deck. The deck's been around since, I want to say, Fall Regionals.
Right.
Fall Regionals is when it really broke out with Jimmy O'Brien going undefeated in a regional championship, if I remember correctly. So the deck's been around forever. It actually took kind of a hit at the between the winter regionals and our spring regionals, but here they are now, and three copies made the top 8 now.
Yeah, we're going to see Trainer's going to head and start us off here. He got the only copy of his Mewtwo EX to start with. That's interesting. And we're going to see a Battle Compressor. So if he can get this Archeops off, that's going to stop a lot of what Owen's trying to do.
Yeah, Archeops is exactly what he's trying to do here in this matchup. Archeops happens to be, I mean, maybe not specifically for this matchup, but it's got to be one of the main reasons why.
I mean, when you're playing Archeops, you're thinking about Crobats, you're thinking about Flareon. So
exactly.
That's if he can get this off, his hand looks pretty good. I can't see all of it necessarily, but it looked like a computer search, and I mean that spells out Maxi for me.
Right, I literally just saw a computer search and I thought, oh man, there's a solid chance at a Maxi, but it looks like he actually got a Lysander, I want to say. It could be a Maxi. Both cards are very similar looking, and he got a Darkness Energy as well as an Archeops.
Yeah, he might not have a VS Seeker, and he might be using this computer search to get the Maxi.
That could definitely be it. Now, he attaches a Darkness Energy as well as a Fighting Fury Belt, and there's a computer search. Will he be able to get his hand down to 0 and have a Maxi in his deck? We'll find out.
I have to believe that he can. I think the last card that he has is a Trainer's Mail, which he could just choose to fail if he didn't want to take that card, if he couldn't play it immediately.
That's absolutely correct. Now, he did get rid of a Colress and I want to say Gallade in his hand. Is he going to play a Trainer's Mail? He does play a Trainer's Mail. That means he's got one remaining card in his hand.
He's going to say no thank you. And
says no thank you. That means that tells me
Archeops.
that there is definitely going to be a Maxi in his hand. I would be so surprised if there is.
Well, yeah, he computer searched for it, so there it goes.
All right, the Maxi is absolutely going to be played. Archeops on turn 1 against your opponent's Flareon Vespiquen deck. Does the Flareon deck play something like maybe Hex Maniac? Let's find out.
Yeah, I mean, that is one of the ways to combat this. Other than that, you have to... I don't know what he can do from here. Is he going to bug bite a couple times? He doesn't have any grass energy. Well, you can't gnaw him. So this is a...
Nope, I don't see it.
Yeah.
I don't see a Hex... I mean, do you just auto-scoop if you're...
He even has a Silent Lab as well. He's thinking about it. He's just going to go ahead and shuffle in, though. Choosing not to take it.
Is there maybe a Wobbuffet?
I mean, this is a very difficult card to deal with, and Trainer's hand has just been amazing so far.
I actually don't see a Wobbuffet in Owen's deck either. That's sometimes what they use to combat.
Right, yeah, you'd bring up the Wobbuffet, and then you would just evolve like 4 Pokemon if you could, and just try to. You can ignore the effect at that point if you do all of your evolving in one turn.
I mean, he does have access to his own Gallade.
Yeah, that is one way that he can combat it. He could use a Lysander Gallade double colorless energy.
I'm digging deep here, man. I am digging really deep to try to find
I think that's his only real way out.
So, I mean, there's a reason why he's not scooping, and that's got to be it. Right away, he does go for a Gallade and a Maxi, so he agrees with me. He thinks that one of the only ways that he's going to be able to pull this off is if he happens to Maxi, and then on the following turn, potentially maybe Lysander up that Archeops and knock it out with the Gallade.
Right, yeah, and honestly, it's up to Trainer at that point. He needs to set himself up with his hand to where he can Maxi again and not let one turn of evolutions commence.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if I'm Trainer, I'm also thinking, all right, so I need to find a way to answer this Gallade immediately.
Right.
Immediately. That's going to be Trainer's strategy at this point, and he does have a Mewtwo.
Yeah, honestly, he can just put as many energies as he wants on this Mewtwo and know that there's no real threat in Owen's deck besides the Gallade, and the Gallade is not targeting the Mewtwo at all.
Right, exactly. I mean, it can't one-hit KO the Mewtwo.
Yeah.
There's nothing it can do.
Especially with that tool on him.
And sure enough, we see a turn one. Man, these guys make it look so easy.
I mean,
they really make it look so easy.
I can never do this, and you guys, I mean, that's why I'm not in top 8 though.
Oh, jeez. I thought I was running hot when I did this twice in like 8 games or something recently. I was like, oh man, somebody get me into this regional championships. I feel like competing.
Hey, he's gonna go ahead and use Premonition there on the Gallade and organize those however he pleases. Okay. And I mean, if he has double colorless in the Lysander, we could see the Archeops fall, and then a window opens up.
Right, but remember, he can't do that this turn yet.
Oh, yeah, no, I know that. I'm saying he's already got the energy on the Eevee for the turn as well. So this is definitely, he's setting up for the future.
Yep. Yeah. At this point, Trainer's going to focus down the Gallade. The Gallade being weak to Mewtwo is a very big deal. But if the Gallade has an opportunity to knock out the Archeops, Trainer's going to need to get another Maxi immediately and not let Owen start setting up his evolution lines.
Right.
Owen only needs one turn to set up evolution lines to be fine.
Right. From this point on, I believe Trainer's going to have a lot of very simple turns, just attaching energy, keeping everything very simple, trying to have answers to maybe a possible Lysander shenanigans. Try to retain some of those item cards that do help you with the Archeops, and then you can get what you need.
It seems like Trainer just needs a Lysander here, right?
I mean, if he can take out the Gallade right now, that would be huge. He does have enough damage.
Right, that's 70 damage times 2. That's 140.
Yeah, I mean, once again, Owen could Maxi again if he wants to. I mean,
well, right,
really
but if you Maxi, then you can't Lysander that turn.
That's true. If you can keep that lock going, then I mean, it just depends on how his hand runs. It's difficult to set this up in 2 turns when Trainer's already done it first.
Yeah, Trainer getting to go first here was absolutely huge for him. He not only got to go first, but he got to get the turn 1 dream setup, like we like to call it. He got to live the dream. Even though Owen got to live the dream as well, his dream was just not
his
quite
dream's
as
a lot prettier right now.
Right.
We're going to see another Trainer's Mail, and he's going to take an Ultra Ball. These are cards I don't think he needs to even use them right now. He can just hold on to them and try to set himself up for a decent Maxi if worse comes to worse, if he doesn't have the Lysander.
Trainer was not able to Lysander this turn, so that does change things quite a bit for him.
Yeah, he even had the Jirachi there as well.
Sorry, I was actually going back in. Nah, that's
he's looking to Ultra Ball right now. He's got the Dark Energy. He can actually even just start setting up another attacker with the Evil Tall as well.
I believe he already attached double colors this turn, but yeah, he can start dark patching onto the
with the dark
and stuff
patch.
like that. He has plenty of opportunities. He's definitely in the driver's seat, even though the Gallade is definitely threatening the Archeops here.
Yeah, we're going to see one of Trainer's 2 of the other Evil Tall, the Fright Knight, and it's not. I don't know if it's too good in this matchup right here, but he might find.
Careful! I happened to say that last time.
I mean,
featured this deck, and I was absolutely wrong.
Thinking about with the tool cards, they're not nearly as important as with other decks, but sniping for 60/60 could be a great way to clean up some of these basic Pokemon that were never able to evolve.
Now, Does Owen have? I mean, honestly, it's pretty difficult for Owen to have everything he needs. He needs a double colorless, and he needs a Lysander here.
I mean, he could even...
He actually plays only a teammate, so he's definitely not going to have it this turn.
If the Silent Lab wasn't there, he'd be able to use the Energy Evolution to evolve, which would be very interesting. But that's shut down with the Silent Lab that's been out since the first turn. So there's a lot in Owen's way right now.
That's a great point. It seems to be like everything is going against him right now.
Yeah, I mean, Trainer knew what he needed to do, and he just had all the cards to do it. And look at his board; it's just commanding.
By the way, guys, keep in mind that things are different here in the top 8. We no longer have a 50-minute time limit. It actually gets extended to 75. 75 should realistically be enough to get 3 full games in. Sometimes it's not, but that's a rarity. And 75 minutes is going to make a world of difference here. They still have an hour and 5 minutes remaining, an hour and 6 minutes remaining, with game 1 being well underway.
Right, and with the way that these two decks collide, you just know that with the Archeops, if that comes out into play so early, then it is a lot different game, and it could end a lot sooner than it would typically run if Owen got a cleaner start without the Archeops against him.
X-ball for knockout.
Now, you see Trainer literally just taking these simple little turns, like you said earlier. He just attaches an energy. He's like, all right, I'm fine. I'll take another knockout here, and now Owen did get the teammates last turn. Does he have what it takes? He does have a Lysander. That Archeops becomes the active Pokemon, and he has the double colors. Good thing teammates exist for him.
Right.
Because he's now going to be getting knocked out, the Archeops will. And remember, though, Owen only has a single EV in play. So even if he does get to evolve, it'll only be one evolution if Trainer doesn't get an Archeops into play.
Right, now this Mewtwo is going to answer the Gallade. This is actually, like, the fact that he started the one Mewtwo is very important because that answers Gallade so easily. And we've seen that Trainer's been holding on to so many cards because he doesn't really need to play that much. He's holding on to, he's just only playing really energy. So that might mean that he has a hand that he can do maxi tricks with and get this Archeops right back. And I mean, Owen's been working for 3 turns now to try to take down the Archeops, and finally he does. But it looks like Trainer didn't really have a hand to go with it. But can Owen realistically take down this Mewtwo this turn?
I've never seen a Flareon get played faster. Right? As soon as Owen took his turn, that was the first thing he did. And now, remember, Trainer's still in a fine spot. I mean, even though his hand doesn't seem to be all that hot, even though he does have some cards that can definitely work. As you know, unexciting as his hand might be, his board state is the exact opposite.
Yeah, this is the point where he needs to have an answer to Flareons and Vespiqueens now. He kind of got a little cute when he was setting up the smaller Eviltal, when he was attaching his energies to him instead of the other the Eviltal EX.
Right.
And if he was attaching to the Eviltal EX, or if he had the way to do it, he can answer this Flareon immediately with that if the Mewtwo was somehow able to fall.
It would be very difficult for that Mewtwo to fall. I mean,
I've
seen weird things happen, but I mean, right now, even then, he's only got 8 Pokemon in the discard pile, I believe. So 8, that's only 100 damage.
Right.
No, it turns out that there is 8. So it's 100 damage total. That's nowhere near enough. You still need 7 more Pokemon to go to the discard pile, and you're only going to be ending your opponent for 5 cards for you.
Right. Yeah. As soon as you're playing an N, and he didn't really get to do too much with his turn beforehand. It's very hard with 5 cards to be able to do that unless he sees a lot of battle compressors in it. And I mean, he can't even use Shaman with the Silent Lab out. So there's so many things against him right now.
I want to see how many stadiums Owen plays. It seems like he plays the standard single parallel city. So that Silent Stadium.
He found Computer Search.
He found Computer Search. Computer Search is a great way to start things off, and a battle compressor. I can realistically see this Mewtwo going down now. I mean, that was a great 5 cards for him.
I don't think he has enough cards to play Computer Search for the Parallel City and then Ultra Ball for the Shaman, though. So how does he do this?
So he actually decides to start off with a battle compressor. I guess he's going to give up on the Shaman Ultra Ball Dream. But that tells me that the Computer Search is likely going to find him another battle compressor, maybe?
Actually, is it possible with the Execute Propagation that he could pull this off? Because if he is able to counter the Silent Lab, then he'd be able to pull that back, and he could try to work that. I don't know.
I refuse to guess in this specific situation. And he actually battle compressored for 3 Pokemon, not unexpectedly.
Right.
He's up to 11 Pokemon in the discard pile, which means that Vengeance is dealing 130 damage, 40 damage away from being able to get a big prize here.
Yeah, and also, I mean, all of this goes away if the Paralycity is prized.
The Computer Search gets used along with an Ultra Ball, so we're only going to be seeing 1 Computer Search here. What will it find?
And
Seems like it's getting a Silver Bangle. Silver Bangle could be pretty big.
Yeah, I'm searching. Yeah.
That would mean he's 1 card away. But no, he actually discarded a Pokemon, which would mean he's got to have exact damage to knock out this Mewtwo EX if my math is not incorrect.
well, he has the belt on, correct? So how much damage are we talking about here?
Oh, no, actually,
That's-
right. It
that's
does
a
have a
lot,
Fighting Fury
yeah.
belt.
And
So the Fighting Fury belt is actually going to mess the math up quite a bit.
Double checking.
we're going to see here, they're going to go ahead and count and just check. Trainer also just wants to see what went on this turn. A lot of things happened.
So he's dealing 170 damage, I believe. But 170 damage is not enough because of Fighting Fury belt. Sure enough, that card gets popped up into the screen. It seems like we might not have been the only people to forget about it.
Yeah, I'm looking to see. He also plays a startling Megaphone. Owen does, so he could be setting up to.
Yeah, 170
actually,
damage.
he's just knocked out.
Right.
He has no other Pokemon.
He did that 170 damage thinking he was going to be knocking out that Mewtwo, but he truly forgot about that Fighting Fury belt, just like we did. And it's easy to forget about when it's hidden underneath, a multitude
Right.
of cards like
it
energies
almost looks
and,
like another energy.
Right, exactly. But no, that Fighting Fury belt was definitely there, and that's the end of Game 1. As quickly as it started, it ends because the Mewtwo just started rolling from, turn 2 on?
Yeah, I mean
That was it.
It was the Archeops. The fact that he was able to get that down turn 1 and then
Exactly.
basically an Yveltal or a Mewtwo there would have been great. The fact that Yveltal or the Mewtwo rather is able to counter the Gallade so beautifully it was helpful, but if he gets that Archeops again, I don't see any way that Owen's able to pull this off,
Right. When Owen chooses to, not play Wobbuffet and stuff like that, then the Archeops honestly becomes just game-breaking.
Right.
Absolutely game-breaking in this matchup, and that had to be a decision that he made, He had to, played his deck list with Archeops in mind and decided to kind of gamble in that situation. His only real way to beat that Archeops was what he used there, but Trainer happened to have the counter to the Gallade.
Right. When you look at his deck list, you could see that he thought about consistency more than about teching out for certain matchups. He's not too. He understands that Archeops is a bad matchup. Even maybe if you even have the Wobbuffet, it's difficult for you to win that match anyways. So why not add a little some more cards that can help out your consistency? And you saw that right there. He got a turn 1 Gallade anyways. So that's what he focused on when he built this deck.
And it looks like we're going to be starting Game 2 in just a second. Owen will be going first this time around instead of Trainer. But, yeah, he chose to add a little bit of spice and none for Archeops here in this specific situation because I truly don't see a way for him to beat a turn 1 Archeops.
Yeah, no, I just can't get over Trainer's opening turn. That was, that's unreal. And look at that. He has the
Another
Mewtwo
Mewtwo
again.
It's taunting Owen here.
Yeah, we see the unknown. He could
A Getsus on turn 1.
The immediate Getsus.
A Getsus on turn 1 only nails a Computer Search, still leaves an N and a Maxi in hand for Trainer. Trainer honestly doesn't have an exciting hand, but that Getsus was just a pretty huge whiff for him.
Yeah, with that Computer Search, it looks like he was really, really close to pulling off the Maxi, if not having it, because he could have Computer Searched for like a Battle Compressor. And if he had any card that he was able to play off the top of his deck, then he had the turn 1 again. So that was, even though it only hit 1 card, that was a good card to hit.
No, yeah, absolutely. It was a great card to hit in that specific situation, but it did only net him 1 card. So that's another thing that we really have to keep in mind is Owen was probably hoping for some sort of draw power out of this card, but it did not really help him out.
It looks like right here he's got his friend Shaman to help him out. He has the interesting choice of playing the double colorless energy on the Combi right now or just drawing 5 cards. And I'm interested to see what he chooses here.
Yeah, when Getsus fails, Shaman comes to bail you out in this specific situation. He does get rid of a Pokemon as well as an item, and he will be, looks like he's going to be Shamaning for quite a few cards, actually.
Yeah, it's only the double colorless and the Shaman right now, so he's going to go ahead
and
just get the full 6. And right into another Shaman, so he could have a very explosive turn.
That Ultra Ball actually helps
the
him out quite a
Ultra
bit.
Ball. That's going to give him some more basics, and he can throw away a couple more Pokemon as well into the discard pile. So this is a very big turn for Owen.
Right. Yeah, you cannot underestimate how much damage that Getsus did to him. Trainer had to be seeing, stars when he saw that he had a turn 1 Maxi available to him. But sure enough, it was very weak and vulnerable to a Getsus.
Right, and I mean, next turn it looks like he's just going to go have to hit an end. So this gives Owen the opportunity to just play down as many cards as he wants and say, listen, if you want a hand, if you want to be able to play against me, you're going to have to give me 6 fresh cards.
Now, I believe, is that a double colorless energy attached to the company right now?
Right, yeah, he attached that so that he could draw 6.
So that's a great start for Owen here. It'll be interesting to see if he can keep it going. He actually chooses not to. And only a darkness energy drawn for Trainer, so Trainer will be playing a couple of Pokemon down, maybe attaching an energy, and then just ending his hand away.
Right, this double colorless is going to allow for the unknown to get knocked out, and we'll see what he draws off this end. If he can draw into the cards, we might see the turn 2 Maxi.
Yeah, attaching a double colorless to that Mewtwo is really safe, considering Owen doesn't really have more than just a couple of Pokemon in the discard pile. So that Mewtwo will be threatening Owen right away here again.
Yeah, we see he's got a Gestus of his own. The Trainer Mail, a lot of good cards. The Battle Compressor especially. So I think Trainer is going to have a pretty good hand to combat whatever Owen is able to do.
Trainer chooses to actually play the Battle Compressor before the Trainer's Mail.
Go for it.
Yeah, this is something that I like to do. I like to go through my deck and get rid of all these cards, and even if it is a couple percentage points, just go ahead and give yourself that extra to get a couple items.
The very first card he got rid of was that Archeops. He might be getting rid of a Darkness and maybe even a Maxi as well.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Actually, he has a Jirachi in hand, so maybe not the Maxi. He might be going for the Jirachi to search out the Maxi on this following turn.
Right, we all got to see the Maxi on the opening Getsus, so it is in the deck.
A single Darkness Energy is in the discard pile, so we can start seeing Dark Patch become effective here. It looks like Trainer's Mail is going to either find a...
Oh, he's actually at an awkward spot where he might have to play the Jirachi next turn and get nothing. Yeah, he's going to choose not to get the Maxi. Did I see that right?
Right.
Yeah, so he's not going to give away any information, and he's going to get the full use out of the Jirachi instead, because with the way his hand plays, he actually has the Getsus too, so it would have been pretty difficult to play out everything.
Yeah, it would have been very difficult to play out everything. He could have chosen to just grab, what was there? There was an N and a Maxi, I believe.
I think off that one, he just had the Maxi. He drew into a lot of full Pokemon.
This deck is looking sweet, man.
Yeah.
So many awesome full arts.
Owen's going to lead in straight with that Vespiquen, and I don't expect to see a knockout here, but who knows when you're playing against Vespiquen Flareon. This deck can just go off.
Right away, things are looking way different for Owen than they did game one. Now, he still has an EV that he can evolve on this turn, but he's got a couple of unknowns that can easily hit the discard pile. And realistically, all I want to see out of Owen here is just a bunch of evolutions as soon as possible, and as many Pokemon in your discard pile as you can possibly get.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah. No big deal. Just play 20 cards. But he has the 2 unknowns here, so that's guaranteed 20 more damage. He's likely going to throw away 3 more Pokemon here. And we'll just see what the rest of his hand has for us. If he has a Sycamore and he's able to throw away a couple more cards, it's not unrealistic that he could knock out this Mewtwo.
Good assessment. Now, the Battle Compressor is finding a couple of Pokemon, and he actually decides to go for a Lysander instead of a third Pokemon here. That Lysander will prove to be very, very crucial if he can Versus Seeker it up. Versus Seeker other things like Shaman up and whatnot throughout the remainder of the game.
Yeah, as soon as he's able to evolve one more Pokemon, he can feel comfortable not having to rely on Galley to take knockouts if the Archeops does come into play. So if he is able to evolve that Eevee into the Flareon, then I feel a lot better about Owen's position in this game, because as soon as Archeops comes into play, Trainer takes a dominant position.
He actually farewell lettered twice, and the second farewell letter found him a Shaman, which can prove to be pretty solid here. His hand seems to be full of a lot of cards that he might not be able to get rid of, though.
Yeah, he might just have to Sycamore them all away. Who knows? What does he have in his discard pile there?
Well, there's definitely a Lysander, and there's a Getsus. Oh, Teammates.
Yes, Teammates.
Yeah, Teammates is never a bad one.
Yeah, now is he going to go for something like multiple compressors here and just get rid of everything? Or you see him even looking at the Jolteon and stuff.
I mean, I would like to see some basics. I think realistically, you want, well, yeah, and actually a Jolteon is not a bad choice either, but you just want to start evolving as soon as possible. You don't want to, push your luck against these Archeops.
Right. So we'll see what he decides to take with the teammates. He's looking at a computer search and a battle compressor. He also is looking at the silver bangle, too. It's a lot of damage.
Lots of great options, yeah. So far, he's doing 90 damage with his Bee Revenge. He chose both cards. I actually didn't get a chance to see them.
It looked like silver bangle and a computer search.
That would make sense. That would make a lot of sense. Now, he's probably going to hold on. No, it seems like he might want to play the computer search now so he can get a big Shaman down. And that's two Vespiquens that are going to be going down here with the computer search. So that's going to be more Pokemon going into the discard pile. It looks like he's now at 9 Pokemon, which is going to be dealing 110 damage, 140 damage because of a Silver Bangle with a Bee Revenge.
Yeah, so I mean,
so a Battle Compressor would actually be a knockout onto this Mewtwo. That's not something I expected at the start of this turn.
Yeah, and he has the Shaman as well to refill his hand, correct? So that's a phenomenal turn. If he can evolve the Eevee into Flareon, I'd say that he's pretty much locked himself in.
I thought he started this turn with only 2 Pokemon in his discard pile. Something like that. And yeah, that's a big, big Battle Compressor here. That's going to mean a one-hit knockout onto this Mewtwo. And this time there is no Fighting Fury Bell to save it.
Yeah, and a trainer's left wondering, man, what if I had the computer search? what if I was able to use that computer search and get the turn 1 maxi in the opening turn? None of this would have been possible. No Vespiquen. My Mewtwo would just be dominating this board, and what would Owen do?
I mean, yeah, what could have been. Now that Shaman is going to draw him 5 additional cards. He's not done with his turn yet. He already has a knockout available to him, but now at this point he can start finding these basic Pokemon. And there's another Eevee. That's a second Eevee that comes into play. He does want to start evolving into a Flareon as soon as possible here. But for now, he's going to be very content to knock out this Mewtwo on his second turn of the game.
Yeah, I don't know if he actually drew into that Flareon, but that's pretty crucial. If Trainer has the cards to... all he really needs is to attach to the Eviltal to knock out this Vespiquen, and then the rest of his hand has to give him the Maxi, but it doesn't look like he has anything to do that right now. A computer search might open up the door for that, though.
You realize that this is only the second turn of the game for these players?
It's phenomenal. They've been playing pretty quickly, and they've played so many cards. And look at the board for Owen. He's
another gets us here for Trainer. Will this gets us get him anything? It seems to only get him a startling Megaphone.
He's slow rolling. It's just the 1 Megaphone there, though.
1 startling Megaphone is all he gets out of this 7-card hand from Owen here. So now Trainer also gets a 1-card gets us, but Trainer's 1-card gets us is significantly weaker than Owen's was, and that's an understatement.
Right, and I mean Trainer's going to bring up this Eviltal EX and knock out the Vespiquen, but after that, a Flareon and a double colorless energy is, that's going to be huge. It takes off the only threat the Trainer has, and it looks like his hand isn't too good as well.
Now, Trainer does continue the streak of knocking out Pokemon, and that's a second Pokemon knocked out on Trainer's second turn of the game.
Yeah, back over to Owen's hand. He's looking through his discard pile right now, just making sure he's got the, how many is that now? 14 Pokemon in his discard on turn 3. And he's got the double colorless energy, and any supporter really, he can get this rolling.
He has a Juniper. Obviously, you're content to just draw 7 new cards, but the fact that you don't have a Flareon in hand yet, it's a little scary, right?
Right. He has another double colorless energy in his hand, but he doesn't really want to Juniper that away right now because it's such an important resource.
I think I'd rather Juniper that away than not.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, he has Jirachi.
Oh, he has a Jirachi.
Might be able to get another supporter.
Okay, that's fair. He can definitely get a Jirachi and maybe an N, but that'll only net him 4 cards.
Yeah, we'll see what he has left in here. He's gone through so many cards. It looks like the only card I see is a Juniper. So a little hiccup if he did get to look through with a computer search last turn. He should know what supporters were in there, but you don't really think about that when you're going through right now.
Yep.
Right. I mean, you're not expecting to see, this trade, this insane trading of Pokemon this early on in the match or this early on in the game. So there's that Juniper.
Yeah, he's upset with himself. He's going to just go ahead and play that Juniper, and he wishes that, that Jirachi wouldn't have to be on the bench if he had known.
He had the opportunity to end instead and just save his resources, but I think wisely chose not to. I think you're okay with discarding a double colorless if it means you're going to draw 3 additional cards
right,
and give yourself the best stuff.
If this Flareon survives the next turn, then he wins the game. I don't see any way around that. And he found what he was looking for. I believe he has at least one more double colorless, so he can have a response if Trainer pulls off something.
Yeah, I believe so as well. But remember, this is so early in the game. I mean, they're supposed to have a ton of resources left, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, I think Trainer does. He didn't really get to play anything was the problem. He lost his computer search and didn't really get to go in as he likes to. And
a Trainer's Mail does actually find him a couple of useful cards. I believe one of them was a Versus Seeker if he wants to go that route.
Fail it.
Yeah,
no,
it looks
I
like
guess
he's going to take nothing, and I think he's just going to use the N he has in his hand.
So using an N in your hand is going to be a little awkward because you only draw 4 cards, and remember, you really need to knock out this Flareon.
Yeah, and he's almost knocked out on board.
Yeah.
Oh, a Shaman here is going to draw him 3 cards, though. That's 3 additional resources. Will he find anything that he needs? Truly needs quite a few cards here.
See another Trainer's Mail. He's just going to keep digging.
Trainer's Mail finds an Ultra Ball or a Computer Search
That's
here.
a Computer Search, yeah. That's a good card to see, but I don't know. It might be too late, honestly. Look at the board, and I mean, if he can, I think he has to end to stop Owen from having another double colorless because it's likely that he's going to be able to find it with his hand size right now.
Owen's hand is relatively large. I believe it's like 6 or 7 cards. But at the same time, I mean, obviously, the first priority is to get rid of the Flareon. That's got to be priority number 1.
Right.
Either that or at least a double colorless if you have something like a Xerosic, but I don't think he does. So, yeah, he does take an Ultra Ball instead of the Computer Search. He chooses to save that resource because he's likely going to be discarding his hand, and he might only want a Pokemon at this point. Something like an Yveltal EX or a Mewtwo, if he still has one of these remaining, would be fine.
All right, so we're going to see him use the Ultra Ball, throwing away Lysander and the Zavia Seeker, and we'll see what he's got left. He needs to I mean, obviously, he's got a lot of cards left. He hasn't used too much, so we'll see what attacker he wants to use.
That would be Fright Knight Yveltal that he searched out. Not the card I was expecting.
Interesting, yeah. I thought he'd be going for Yveltal EX or something like that, but he honestly might be out. He only does play 2 Yveltal EX, and
we've already seen one, and we've seen the Mewtwo EX.
Yeah, one could be prized. He might just pack it up pretty soon and try to play a 3rd game.
And he actually has a Jirachi in hand, which will be able to find him pretty much anything he likes.
He's going to choose which way to lay this Parallel City right now.
He might not even want to play the Parallel City. Well, I mean, if he plays the Parallel City, then that means that he's restricting himself because he's also only going to have a Jirachi, and he's going to have a Jirachi in both Pokemon that he already has in play. So
right.
We'll be able to add additional bench Pokemon.
So he has to decide right now if having one more Pokemon on his bench is more important than limiting stopping 20 of this damage coming in, right?
Right. Now remember that, I mean, Owen can easily just play a couple more Pokemon onto his discard pile, right? Like to negate Parallel City's effect?
Yeah, it's not uncommon, and we see 5 Pokemon in the EV underneath 6, so out of his 20, he has 22 Pokemon remaining, the 15 in, so he has like 7 more Pokemon. He could find these and easily knock out the Darkrai.
Indeed, Jirachi does find him any supporter that he would like. He has no hand otherwise, so, I mean, he could go for a Juniper, or he could go for an N. I can see an argument made for both.
Hopefully you get something. I'm gonna get something.
Cannot see an argument made for anything else.
Yeah, they're both laughing a little bit. I think they realize that Owen in this position, it's looking like we're gonna see a Games 3 pretty soon.
I mean, I guess I can see an AZ to get a Shaman back into your hand, but I'd rather see a Juniper, obviously.
Right.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, sure. I guess try to find whatever best possible way you have to win this game. There's plenty of time left in the match, honestly.
We are going to see the Juniper, though.
Juniper will find him 7 cards, but that also means that Owen's hand is going to be in his in his hands, I guess, to start his turn.
Okay, 7.
All right, so he needs to find dark patches. He needs to find a lot of things, but I don't. Even then, he does attaching to the Fright Knight Yveltal, like only doing 60-60. You're not even taking care of the Flareon. You could knock out an Eevee, but what do you really gain from doing this?
I mean, you need to knock out this Flareon, right?
Yeah, and he just doesn't have the ability to do it. None of his Pokemon are capable of knocking out this Flareon right now, so...
You can't even Lysander up a Shaman to try to stall a little bit. Nothing.
Yeah, He's going to look. He's fighting.
I can only imagine that the Yveltal EX was prized, or he had to discard it at some point that we just never saw.
Right.
Something along those lines, because it's just looking really grim here. The Yveltal, the Friday Night Yveltal is just not what the doctor ordered.
Interesting. He's going to go ahead and hit the Shaman. He actually thinks it's Night Spear, but it's 60-60. He's going to go ahead and... Okay, so that's
the Versus Seeker was going to find him
the Lysander.
The Lysander to take the final 2 prizes against the Shaman EX, but Trainer seeing the writing on the wolf does the writing on the wolf does scoop things up, and we're going to be going to a game 3 with plenty of time remaining.
Right. I have to feel that Trainer's in a great position here, even though that game didn't go his way. When he had the Archeops start, that was I don't see a way that Flareon is able to deal with it if they don't have cards like Wobbuffet, if they don't have the cards that we're used to seeing when we're seeing with like Jimmy O'Brien's list. He had built-in ways to combat this, and deciding to forgo that when you're playing against an Archeops deck, that's not good news for you.
That was the most brutal turn 1 Getsus that only got 1 item I've ever seen.
Right? Like, you look and you're like, that wasn't too
My
great.
first reaction was, oh, he only got 1 card.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
And then you think about it, and it's like, that hand could have played out pretty well, even though it wasn't the prettiest one. It's not a bunch of battle compressors and an Ultra Ball and all that good stuff.
Right, it wasn't a 6-card Getsus.
Yeah.
But it would have had a turn 1 Archeops again. So Trainer has now had 2 opportunities of getting a turn 1 Archeops out of both games. One of them didn't work out the way he wanted to, though. So now going into game 3, if he can pull it off again, he's going to be in amazing shape to take this match.
And he's going to go first, and he's going to give himself that opportunity. He can't get Getsus then. We'll see if he's able to pull it out.
Right. But pulling it out is so hard. It's not easy. Seriously, it looks easy. He makes it look easy right now.
Right.
But it is not the easiest thing to do. You have so many cards that just work against you. You have 2 Versus Seekers in your hand, you're screwed.
Right.
You have 2 supporters in your hand, you're in trouble. There's so many things that can go wrong.
Yeah.
2 energy cards.
I think he's built his list pretty well to where a lot of his cards he can play immediately. So, maybe he's doing a little better than my 30% I've been thinking about, but we'll see if he's able to pull it off this game. Maybe even start off with that Mewtwo for the 3rd time. Who knows?
No, I ran the numbers. 30% is correct. It's actually 30.05.
I like the way you think then.
Yeah. A handshake does signify the start of game 3. Keldeo EX start for Trainer against, Combi and Eevee, which is a great start for Owen.
That would have been a turn 1 Getsus. Look at all the items in his hand.
He's counting his hand. He's like, I wonder if I have it right now.
I see Battle Compressor. He's going to go ahead and start off with his Trainer's Mail.
Trainer's Mail before the Battle Compressor this time around. Sometimes it's wiser to actually play the Trainer's Mail first. Sometimes it's not.
Yeah. This time it looked like it didn't pay off too well for him. He actually can't grab the other Trainer Mail, and he could either take the belt or just shuffle them back in. And we're likely going to see the Battle Compressor come down now.
Right away, the first card we see is that Archeops that was already hiding in the bottom of the deck, waiting for that Battle Compressor.
Take me.
But there's also 2 cards that he can find. Usually you find like a Darkness Energy, which there we go, just right on cue. And the final card can either be a Maxi if you have a Versus Seeker. There's so many different things that this final card could be.
Right, I really want to see the rest of his hand to see if it can play out the way that a turn 1 Maxi would. I see Dark Patches, and it looks like he's going to take a Juniper, so maybe this hand isn't going to work out the way a Maxi would. Just too many cards that he
does have an Ultra Ball. The Ultra Ball could always find that Jirachi, remember?
That's true. He has
a Dark Patch in his hand, and he has a Darkness Energy, but he does not have a Darkness Pokemon.
He's actually going to throw away 2 Dark Patches.
There was a Floatstone in his hand. What was the other card?
I think he's actually going to be able to do the turn 1 Maxi right here.
Why not? Why not do a turn 1 Maxi here? Sure enough, he finds a Jirachi, which finds him a Maxi. He still has 2 cards left in his hand, but I know one of them was a Floatstone. The other one has to be something he can get rid of, right?
How hard is it to look at an Ultra Ball and Dark Patches and just say, I'm not going to go get an Yveltal. I'm going to throw away, even though it looks really bad and throwing away all these Dark Patches, I can get a turn 1 Archeops. I don't care how ugly it looks. Let's do it.
Turn 1 Maxi, turn 1 Archeops. He's done it again. Games 1 and 3. I can only imagine that Owen's got to be feeling a whole lot of frustration right now.
And the last card on that Trainer Mail is going to nail him the Ultra Ball. I have to believe that that's important. I don't know what the rest of his hand looks like, but having an Ultra Ball means that you can go get a Shaman eventually. And
I don't think you want a Shaman in this position because there's a Parallel City. So, I mean, when you have a Keldeo, a Jirachi, and an Archeops in play, I think you really just want an attacker.
Yeah, he's. I didn't see which way he pointed it to him, but we'll see what Pokemon he decides to take.
He actually goes for the Shaman, so maybe he pointed it the other way, or maybe he's perfectly content to just have this now and then maybe Silent Lab later.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to learn which way the blue and the red is. So here, down comes the Dark Patch. He's actually gonna set up if he finds a double colorless energy.
So it looks like he actually did the Parallel City onto his own side.
Hey, there we go.
And a Shaman is gonna draw him 6 cards here. That's a 6-card Shaman to go with the turn 1 Archeops.
Yeah, and he actually did find the double colorless.
I like
energy.
how they show us the Parallel City.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. We have the double colorless energy down. So, what a turn! Just look at everything that he was able to accomplish. He's going to go ahead and just pass the turn, and he has the double colorless energy. He can take 2 prize cards very easily next turn.
I would love to see like an equally exciting turn out of Owen, but it's going to be so much harder for him to pull off because of that Archeops.
He throws away a Professor Juniper as the first card, so I don't. That may. I mean, last time it didn't signify it for Trainer, but that might signify that he can't do the Maxi either, or for this first turn, which he's gonna need. He's gonna need the Gallade to combat the Archeops.
Yeah, he truly needs a Gallade right now. Even though he started off with the right 2 Pokemon, in my opinion, the Eevee and the Combi, they're waiting to be evolved, right?
Yeah.
But because there is an Archeops in play, he won't be able to evolve them yet. Keep in mind, though, Energy Evolution does mean that Basic Energy will be able to get past that Archeops.
Yeah. With the rest of his hand there, I see cards like Startling Megaphone. Might as well play it. It might actually be important if he can play his hand down a little lower, but he actually just has to pass the turn, and this double colorless energy, that's the end of the game.
Double colorless, yeah. Wait.
He just snipes twice, right? The guesses for a little added BM, and he's going to take a card, and he should just...
I mean, no, it only hits EXs, bro.
It only hits EXs.
Yeah,
Thank
I was
you.
like, wait a minute, what's going on, man? What am I not seeing? No,
Okay,
it only hits
so there is all right.
Let's not get too excited yet. All right,
I thought the card was much better.
Don't get my blood pressure up, man. He is going to be able to knock out an Eevee, though, and the Eevee is the only Pokemon that could have evolved, remember, because of that Energy Evolution. So that's still a really big deal.
Right.
It might not be the immediate end of the game, but it might signify the end. It might signify a handshake. Did Owen draw anything? He plays the Vespiquen, but he can't.
Fake evolve.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the game.
Yeah, there's the handshake. Owen just drew absolutely dead game 3, and that was it. Trainer Wolf is going to be the player that advances to the top 4.
Yeah.
And these were 3 fast, furious games that were ultimately decided by the very first turn of the game.
A lot of fighting Pokemon hitting the bench turn 1 that should never see the bench turn 1 with these Archeops and these Gallades, but they were able to do it, and I mean, it just goes to show that they know their decks, and they worked really hard to get the best opportunities for themselves to end up with the Archeops, and he got it. Game 1 and Game 3, and that's all he needed.
He makes this look easy, man.
Right.
I'm telling you, these are incredible hands that he got, but at the same time, he played them very well.
Yeah.
Huge props to Trainer. He played the matchup very well, and he teched for the matchup quite a bit. On the other hand, Owen had a great run. 14 rounds of Swiss is not to be overlooked.
Right.
And once you make the top 8, unfortunately, you face a very difficult matchup with very good opening hands. That does not equate to a win in most situations.
You could tell that he really wasn't looking forward to this kind of matchup. He took out the cards like the Wobbuffet and other things, Tropical Beach and stuff like that. The cards that you would use trying to slow this game down and take that one big turn to evolve everything and combat the Archeops. So props to him for he took that one game off him, and he did pretty well.
Yep. So stay tuned, guys, because we will have a winner's interview with Trainer after this awesome match.